Bonjour, bonjour à tous. Très contente d'être ici à Charlottetown pour rencontrer mes homologues, de même que le premier ministre Carney plus tard cette semaine. Bien, vous savez, il y a eu des menaces de nouveaux tarifs par l'administration américaine. C'est préoccupant, ces menaces. Et on va prendre le temps d'analyser les décrets présidentiels avant de se prononcer plus en détail. Mais comme vous savez, moi, je vais travailler sans relâche pour protéger les entreprises, protéger les travailleurs, protéger l'économie du Québec. C'est essentiel. Et comme vous le savez également, la gestion de l'offre, c'est quelque chose qui est non négociable. Ça va rester jusqu'à la fin. C'est non négociable. Je vais rencontrer le premier ministre Carney plus tard cette semaine, donc j'aurai l'occasion d'en discuter avec lui. Donc voilà, j'ai bien hâte de rencontrer mes homologues de l'ensemble du Canada. Également vous dire que je vais rencontrer M. Wakeham. Et ça va être une réunion qui va nous permettre en fait de discuter de l'entente. Et c'est une entente qui est bénéfique, à la fois pour le Québec, pour Terre-Neuve également. Donc, et je suis très confiante qu'on va pouvoir arriver à conclure cette entente prochainement. I'm glad to be here in Charlottetown to meet with my counterparts, as well as with Prime Minister Carney. As you know, there have been some new threats, tariff threats, made by the Trump administration. We will take the time to review the different measures that have been put forward by the Trump administration. As you know, I will defend and protect Quebec's economy, Quebec's workers, Quebec businesses until the end. And the supply management is something that is non-negotiable for me. I will meet with Prime Minister Carney later this week, and it is in my intention to discuss the situation, the current situation. Quebec's economy is really impacted by the tariffs, and we'll need to adopt a strategy that will permit the obtention of a stable framework. And I will get the opportunity to meet with Premier Wakeham in order to discuss the current agreement that is being negotiated, and I'm pretty confident that we will get to a conclusion of this agreement pretty soon. Thank you. Merci.
Hello, everyone. How are we all? I got a couple, absolutely.
Good to see you, David Aiken from Global in Ottawa. Can you talk about the likelihood that you're going to leave this weekend with the deal with Premier Fréchette on Churchill?
All I can tell you is I'm looking forward to having a meeting with the Premier of Quebec later this afternoon.
And what about these Trump tariffs? What's Newfoundland and Labrador's position?
You know, like, we're part of Canada, and I support what the Prime Minister's been doing. I support my fellow premiers across the country. And I think that's what we're doing, is we're focused on a Canadian solution. And that's the way it should be. We're all proud Canadians, and I look forward to working with the Prime Minister and some of the challenges that we face, and having a conversation with him this afternoon.
Will you lift the U.S. alcohol ban? Will you lift the U.S. alcohol ban?
Just a check-in, or are negotiations on the renegotiated Churchill Falls?
I won't be.
Need to get together?
We won't. No, I'm meeting with Premier Fréchette as the Premier of Quebec. I mean, I'm not negotiating. We have negotiating teams for that.
Do you think it's still possible?
Do you think it's still possible?
As I said, I'm going to be meeting with Premier this afternoon, and we'll have a conversation.
Will you lift the U.S. alcohol ban, and has the federal government asked you to lift it?
I know the federal government hasn't asked me to lift it, and I will be supportive of the decisions made by all the premiers and the Prime Minister.
The USTR said that Canada isn't offering to change anything, and that's the problem. They're just offering to talk, they're not offering to change anything. So you talk about a solution. What's the solution?
Well, the challenge is tariffs don't work for anyone. They don't work for the people of the United States. They don't work for the people of Canada. So I think that, as I've said before, you know, Canada and U.S., we have more that brings us together than we do separates us. So tariffs are not effective for anyone. But I think that the Prime Minister has taken this on, and we're going to stick together as a country, and we're going to move forward.
But you're not going to drop your tariffs.
We're working on an internal trade when it comes to alcohol. Any more details you can share about that? Is it a signing today? Anything that you can tell us about?
No, as I said, we're going to be meeting with the Prime Minister this afternoon. I look forward to that conversation. Thank you all.
Just looking to get get your take on the latest news out of Washington and whether there's solidarity among the premiers to hold the line on stuff like booze on the shelves and some of these other measures you've tried.
Well, the news just came out yesterday, so I'm about to meet with the premiers, and so we'll see how that conversation goes. But this is something that, you know, I've been expecting for a while. I'm surprised it took them this long to come with some retaliatory tariffs, and this is the reason that we need to do what we're doing and work on becoming more self-sufficient, being able to protect ourselves, feed ourselves, and diversify our trade relationships, because this is the new normal, and we cannot rely on the United States to be a reliable trade partner and stick to the agreements that we've signed with them.
The fact that for the first time, when the list comes out, CUSMA-compliant goods are not exempt, they're hitting everything on the list. How does that change things, and do you think this is the beginning of the end for CUSMA?
I don't think that changes anything. This is the situation we've been in for the past year. I think if you've been paying attention, the agreements that we sign, you know, they're upheld to an extent, but not fully. And this is just an extension of that. So I don't think this is the beginning of the end. I think CUSMA is important to, obviously to us, but it's very important to the United States. They're facing an affordability crisis right now as well. And so, you know, these tariffs are really a tax on Americans. And I don't think that the getting rid of CUSMA would be popular. Not that there seems to be much concern about what's actually popular in the United States, but it would have such a significant impact on people's everyday pocketbooks that I think it's probably not in the cards in the near term at least.
As someone who's looking to take over as chair after this, where do you rate the solidarity around the Premier's table? Because we seem to already today be hearing that people have some different ideas about the best way to proceed, whether it's time to sort of get in there, negotiate, concede, or whether it's time to stand tough and hold the line.
There's always different ideas. That's the great thing, that we can come together and have discussions about those ideas. Ever since I've been at this table, I've been amazed at the solidarity. Yeah, there's differences of opinions, but every time we're in that room, we're all pulling in the same direction. We all want the same outcome for Canada, and so I'm confident that we're going to continue to stay united in the face of these new threats. But I got to get to the meeting here. Thank you.
Does the Prime Minister need to be more transparent with Canadians regarding Canada-U.S. trade relations? We even heard some premiers calling for a strategy from the Prime Minister today. Could he be more transparent with Canadians, do you think?
I don't want to speak to the Prime Minister's communications on this. You know, I read a lot of news. I see what's going on, and then I'll get updates from the Prime Minister, and it's in line with what I'm hearing in the news. So to me, I feel like I'm getting a lot of information just as a member of the general public. But that being said, this is such an impactful situation for Canadians that people always want more information. In terms of a strategy, it's difficult to strategize when you have an actor that is a little less rational than normal. But, oh, I see Premier Holtz here, so I'm going to take off. Thanks, everyone.